Good afternoon, everybody. Good to see you. I know it's been a while since I've done a video and posted one here. Before I get too far in, I do want to say that this potentially might be a little bit of a trigger for some people, the subject that I'm going to be discussing. And if it is, I understand and I appreciate your position and your opinion, and I'm not going to deny you that. I just would hope that you'd be willing to listen all the way through to the end. And anybody watching this video, please watch it all the way through to the end and subscribe to the page, as there are going to be more videos like this and probably some more of my bushcraft videos as things develop and grow. So I wanted to talk to you today about toxic masculinity and what that really means. And before we get too deep into that, I want to start by asking a question. I would like for each of you, if you can, leave in the comments what masculinity means to you, your opinion on masculinity, and for you on a personal level, what that masculinity means. And on the back end of that, I would very much like for you to think about what brought about or what brings about that viewpoint of masculinity. What is it that has most influenced your opinion of it? So, yes, we're going to be talking about toxic masculinity. And like I said, I'd like for you to think about what has formed your opinions, helped you to form your opinions of masculinity. My position is that there is no real toxic masculinity. Hold on, hear me out. Instead, there is toxicity, human toxicity. I'm not talking about feminist or masculine or any of that, and I'm not attacking anybody here. I'm simply stating that there seems to be a major push within the media, social media, for the comparison between toxic masculinity and masculinity to the point where they seem to be almost the same thing. And the reality is there is toxicity everywhere, but that's not to be confused with what masculinity is. And I say this because I see a lot of young males out there who are struggling to identify with themselves, who are struggling to move forward in their lives and are struggling with their own masculinity because society is currently telling them that there's something wrong with that they are inherently aggressive, destructive, and toxic because they're male. No, I'm not attacking women. No, I'm not attacking feminists. Being raised the way that I was, I'm one hell of a feminist myself. But I'm also a masculine male. And I am somebody who is exploring what masculinity means to me. And especially what masculinity means within our society. And I had the chance recently to chat on a podcast with a good friend of mine by the name of Brent Lamborn, who does the Deeply Rooted Parent podcast. Our episode was called Battle Cries, the Creative Masculine. And I really encourage you to check that out. Please give it a listen because you'll get a better idea of what it is that we're talking about. We go into quite some depth about the subject, but the short of it here is, are we necessarily looking at things the right way? Or are we allowing media of all kinds to govern how we are raising the young people of today? With this belief that if they show any form of masculinity, that they are to be cowed and pushed down and villainized. And I think one of the biggest problems here is this is creating young men who are very confused. And I mean confused in terms of they don't know who they are and they're not too sure how to learn, how to find out. They don't have a lot of elders to guide them, and they haven't been taken through a process by which their immature masculine can be wiped clean in order to make room for a mature masculine. Like I said, check out the podcast, Battle Cries, the Creative Masculinity. It's really key here that we understand we're not bashing anybody, that it's about delving deeper and helping men to discover who they are, helping the masculine to be re-identified as the creative force it's always been. As human beings, we have the capacity to destroy, but we are not inherently destructive. This, I know it's hard to grasp, but it's a truth that I really do believe in. You see, we all have the capacity to destroy if we really want to. But as human beings, by being inspired to develop and create, to build, to dance, to sing, to create music, to paint, to draw, to carve, sculpt, however you want to look at it, we have a far greater capacity to create. We bring life into the world. That's wonderful. So our call, our battle cry, is to stop trying to define people in a negative way and insisting that the very basic basis of who they are is inherently toxic. Because this really is what we're seeing amongst young men today. They're being told they're toxic, so that's what they are. They're being told that they're villainous, so that's what they are. We need to guide and teach the way we once did. And we need to start this again. So again, I'm very curious as to what people's opinions of masculinity really are. And where and how were those formed? Was it at home? Was it through media, through friends? Because there's a lot of different places that we can learn things, right? And not necessarily all good places for us to be learning these things. So I really am curious. Please watch through. I hope you've watched through to this point. Leave a comment and subscribe. And we will be continuing this conversation, and I will do my best to provide a link to the podcast so you guys can listen and get a better idea of really the depth of what we're discussing and where we're going to be taking it in future podcasts. Alrighty, you folks take care now. Peace and love to all of you.